Part 7 of Grindelwald vs. Voldemort? Here we go. Let's do a rundown on Voldemort and Grindelwald's different leadership styles. As I've said before, Grindelwald was quite the silver-tongued devil, choosing to lead through brotherhood as a charismatic leader instead of fear. In the movies, he gives calm, concise speeches playing on the wizards' hatred for having to hide their abilities from muggles. And though he can be scary, he instead opts to treat his followers or potential followers like family, allowing even those who don't intend to join him to leave. Because of this, he has a tendency to attract the more upstanding types, the types who would gladly represent what he's saying and what they want to do in society. They wouldn't have to hide behind masks and disguise what they're doing. But this is where it gets hard to compare Grindelwald to Voldemort in this regard. Grindelwald wanted to amass an army to subjugate the Muggles and rule over them. He didn't care about your background so much, but his goals primarily only attracted wizards to the cause, while Voldemort managed to attract a whole slew of undesirables. Because his primary goal was to rule the wizarding world and presumably the Muggle world forever as a immortal dictator, he had to rule through fear instead, demanding loyalty or death, and torturing even his most loyal followers, as well as killing those he saw as disloyal. It's impossible to say he led as anything other than a feared dictator. His hatred for Muggles and half-bloods as well as half-breed creatures made him an odd choice for some of the creatures that decided to follow him, such as the Giants. And even though he would likely kill them later, they still chose to follow him because he promised to give them freedoms that the current wizard regime would not. And while it was unlikely that Voldemort intended to let them live after the war was finished, many half-breed creatures still joined him, making it likely that his army vastly outnumbered Grindelwald's, who would have consisted of only witches and wizards. Though unknown for sure, Voldemort's army was likely larger for this reason. And I say Voldemort's army was likely larger only because of the creatures and stuff that he had added to it. And a comment from Lupin in the Order of the Phoenix where he says we were outnumbered 20-1 by the Death Eaters and they were picking us off one by one. That comment, combined with the picture that Moody shows Lupin, it places the Death Eaters somewhere around 440 at the time. But after looking everywhere, a definitive answer does not appear to exist. They're all estimates. And the estimates place them between 250 and about 400 at the time of Voldemort's first war. The only way I can estimate what Grindelwald actually has is by counting everybody in the mausoleum and figuring out how many are there, then assuming that the vast majority of them wound up joining him. But since the last movie hasn't come out and his canon is primarily from the movies, I would have to leave it to that. At the moment, I would say Voldemort's army likely wins this battle, which would be his first big win in this entire comparison. So for the sake of sticking to what we have in canon, I'm going to give it to him for now.